Let me take a guess. You tried all of the techniques that you hear about online, whether it's meditation, journaling, exercising, getting sunlight, going to a therapist to reduce your anxiety, and none of those strategies seem to work. And I know exactly how you feel because I've been feeling anxious since 8 years of my life, because when I was 10 years old, I got heavily bullied at school, and therefore I developed a generalized anxiety disorder, which means that I feel anxious every single second of the day, no matter what. And I literally tried all of the self-help techniques out there. I have over 500 sessions of meditation. I've been journaling every single day since 3 years, especially gratitude journaling. I've been working out 4 to 5 times a week since 2 years, and I've been eating clean and doing everything that you hear online. But after a lot of time, I was so frustrated because I still felt anxious and I kind of felt out of place. Like, maybe you can relate to this. You do everything right. You're on track. You go to the gym and, you slowly face your fears and you overcome your social anxiety and you try to eat cleaner, you're reducing your bad habits, you get rid of porn and junk food and social media and video games, but something is still off. And I was so frustrated that I was almost about to give up on this journey of reducing my anxiety because I saw absolutely no hope until I came across this one single thing that changed everything for me. And I realized this as I was listening to one of Tony Robbins' lectures. He's like the biggest self-help coach out there. Maybe you know his name. And he talked about that success is 80% psychology and 20% strategy. And then something clicked in my mind. And I was like, I've been focusing on all of the strategies all of the time, right? Like meditation, journaling, working out, eating clean, fixing my diet, fixing my bad habits, and incorporating good habits into my life. I was just focusing on the strategy. But I never looked inside into my psychology. And I read over 125 books on anxiety. I've worked with a bunch of young men that reduce their generalized anxiety disorder. And one thing that I always find out is that it's not about the strategy. There is no secret. It's all about the psychology. It's all about what's going on inside of your head. So in this video, I want to show you exactly how to look inside of your head, fix this problem, right? Fix this anxiety from within instead of from without, by doing good habits and stuff like that, which doesn't work if you're still watching this video and you can relate to what I'm saying. And trust me, I know your pain, I know your frustration, but I want to help you because I've been exactly where you are. So the first thing that I would like you to understand is that anxiety isn't the problem. Now this might seem like a weird thing to say, right? Why is anxiety not the problem, right? I'm feeling anxious, it's making me overthink, and when I wake up in the morning, I'm feeling like shit and I'm constantly worrying and I can't go outside and enjoy life and I constantly have to chest inside of my pain. Like, Marlon, what are you talking about? Anxiety is clearly the problem. Well, I had to realize by studying a bunch of books and by really looking into anxiety that anxiety is a symptom. It's a symptom, which means that just trying to fix a symptom is like putting a badge onto an open wound, right? So imagine you injure yourself with your arm and you have like a cut in your wrist and you just slap a bandage on it. The wound is still there. You just slap a bandage on it and you hope for it to recover. But you're not attacking the root cause, right? You're not fixing the wound itself. You're not stitching it. You're not, waiting for it to recover. You're just slapping a bandage on it and then hoping for it to recover on its own without actually fixing the wound itself. And that's what I've been doing for such a long time, for literally 8 years of my life. So where does anxiety come from if it's a symptom of something else? It comes from your body and mind saying and feeling, I don't feel safe, right? Because you have to understand that anxiety is an emotion that's actually trying to protect you. It's a good thing. It gets triggered because you want to stay alive. So imagine 1,000 years ago, you're inside the forest and you're hunting for berries, or you can't hunt for berries, but you're hunting a deer with your brothers, and you hear a bear close to you, right? Or you think about that a bear is close to you, and then you start to get the fight-flight freeze response, right? This part in your brain, the amygdala, is getting active and is releasing cortisol and adrenaline, like stress hormones, and then the fight-flight freeze response gets triggered, right? So when you see the bear in front of you, you get ready to fight it, right? You poke it with a spear, you run away, or you freeze and you pretend you're not there. Or maybe you scream at it, or you shout. You try to defend yourself and you try to stay alive, which was super important, and it still is super important today, right? And these responses are basically automatic. You don't even think about them, right? So modern day example is when you're, walking on the street and the car is approaching you in a super fast speed, you instantly jump off the street. You don't think about it. You're not like, there's a car, it's driving towards me, I have to get away or I will die. You're not thinking that. You're stepping outside of the way, right away from the road automatically. That is your fight, flight, freeze response, acting. And this is happening because you don't feel safe. And we have to get really deep into psychology here for a second. And I will explain it as easy as possible because this took me years to understand and a bunch of reading, so I hope to save you a bit of time and suffering. So you basically have like a conscious brain, right? That's everything that you're aware of. So your thoughts and kind of like your feelings and everything that you pick up with your 5 senses. So smelling, hearing, touching, sounds, and I forgot the last one. I always forget the last one. And then you have an unconscious brain, an unconscious mind, which takes up 95 to 99.5% of the actual brain. And this is controlling basically your emotions and everything that you're not aware of. So your heart is beating right now and you're breathing right now, but you're not really thinking about it. It's just happening like kind of automatically. And the number one human psychology principle is pain avoidance. We all want to avoid pain and increase our pleasure. That's basically what we're doing in our entire life, right? And pain is a very valuable teacher. So I got bullied heavily at school 8 years ago, and that was very painful. And it triggered my anxiety because I wanted to run away or do something about this pain of getting bullied, getting pushed around, right? Feeling completely hopeless and looking weird and not having any support. So I just escaped into video games and junk food and porn for 5 years of my life. Basically just like escapism, escaping from the pain and not facing it. And when you have a very bad experience, right? Remember, pain avoidance. You don't want to think about it, right? When something bad happens to you, you don't want to think about it. And then you store this memory, this painful experience deep inside of you, right? Kind of like an iceberg. And you store it below the surface and it stays stuck on replay. So then you basically have like unprocessed emotions, unprocessed memories inside of you. And not only the memory gets put inside of you, but also the person that you were back then. So I still have like this inner child inside of me, this 10-year-old self inside of me, which is deeply hurt and traumatized. And this part of me, this unconscious part of me, is signaling to my brain, through anxiety, to my conscious brain that something is wrong. So the only way that your conscious, the unconscious brain, your unconscious mind can communicate with your conscious mind is through emotions and dreams. So when you're always feeling anxious and you don't know why, it is probably because you got traumatized and you have some kind of unprocessed emotions deep inside of you that you didn't want to deal with. And this is completely fine. This is not your problem. This happens to almost every single one. When something bad happens, you don't want to deal with it, right? So imagine you see like a spider, right? You run away from it. You don't want to deal with it. You don't want to touch it. You get away from it. Pain avoidance. And it's the same thing inside of your mind. When you have an unpleasant experience, you don't want to deal with it and you put it away. You hide it somewhere. And it can get so deeply buried inside of you that you actually forget that something happened to you. So if you have like a really traumatic, like a bad experience, like someone really hurt you, you got abused or you got bullied or, you know, you got hurt in some way, emotionally or physically, it can be that bad that it gets stored so deep inside of you that you don't even remember it. So then you constantly have this anxiety and you don't really know why. And it makes no sense, right? To just meditate, to just journal, to just exercise, to just eat clean, to just reduce your bad habits, or to get a girlfriend, or whatever, if you're still hurting inside. Like, don't get me wrong, meditation, mindfulness is awesome, right? Eating clean and, you know, raising your testosterone and fixing your hormones, amazing. Less cortisol, more dopamine, right? You're not frying your brain, amazing for focus, amazing for your mental health. Nature, sunlight, moving, right? Releasing endorphins, that's all amazing. But it won't fix your anxiety in the long run, and it will keep coming back. So maybe you had this before, where it goes like up and down, up and down, up and down. Some days you feel amazing and you feel on track, and some days later it's just like everything is crashing down and you don't really know what's happening and you just have like a panic attack or you're just feeling very anxious out of nowhere. That is because you're still hurt inside, and you haven't really fixed that before. And you haven't detected the root cause, you've just been fixing the symptoms. So what do we have to do? What can we do about this to actually fix the root cause of our anxiety? Well, the first step is to really understand your anxiety. Because for years of my life, I never knew why I'm feeling anxious. I didn't know that this feeling manifested because I got bullied. I blamed other people. I thought it was my mom. I thought it was my hormones. I thought just something is wrong with me, or that I'm feeling this way because I was addicted to porn for 6 years. Or that, it's because of my diet or because I was obese. And I was constantly looking, right? When you have a problem, you constantly look for ways to understand it and to justify it and then solve it, especially if you're young men like me. We love solving problems. But if you fix the wrong problem and you have anxiety and you fix the wrong problem because you think that's causing you anxiety, but it's actually not, then you just get lost and you become super frustrated. So the first step is to really understand your anxiety. So you just want to become aware of your bodily sensations. Really, like when you're in a social situation, like when I'm going to school, I can really feel inside of me that my anxiety is increasing. When I'm in public situations, I feel that I'm, feeling a bit on edge and a bit of, like, a bit tense, and my muscles are really like clenching my fists, and I get a bit of back pain because I'm so tense. And usually in the morning, I realize that my anxiety is quite bad, because then I have the awakening cortisol response. If you have morning anxiety, you can check out a video I made on that. And then I also realize, like, during midday, right, like 13, 14, 15 p.m., it's getting a bit worse. And then before I will go to bed at night, it's also getting a bit worse. So it's like this constant up and down throughout the day. And I never was really aware of this because I was so distracted. But when you really, like, look at what's going on inside of your body and also your mind, this is the second step, becoming aware of your thoughts and your mind. You can really understand, okay, I'm in this situation and this is triggering this thought. That's quite weird. And then you can trace it back and you can maybe understand why you're feeling this way. And if you do this for, like, let's say 5 to 7 days, like let's say just a week, you really understand, okay, I'm feeling anxious when I'm around this person. I'm feeling anxious when I didn't sleep 8 hours. I'm feeling anxious when I eat this kind of food, right? I really feel it inside of my body when I'm eating junk food like candy, chocolate, sugar, and a lot of bad fats, that I'm starting to feel worse. When I drink too much coffee, I start to feel worse. And then I just like looked at this and I was like, that's weird. I have a bunch of things that make my anxiety worse. And then I was like, whenever I go to school, I'm feeling worse. I'm getting anxious thoughts, negative thoughts, I'm overthinking, I'm feeling very tense, and I have like this kind of social anxiety. And I realized it's happening every single time I go to school. And then I found out, okay, was there something that happened? Was there something that I forgot? A memory that I didn't process? Like a teacher screaming at me, a friend making fun of me, someone bullying me at school. And it was like, 8 years ago, you got heavily bullied. Everyone was making fun of you. You got humiliated and basically abused for like an entire year at school. You got pushed in front of a driving bus. And then I was like, damn, that's why I'm feeling anxious. Because if you remember, I said the person that you were back then also gets stored. Not just the memory, not just the emotions, also the person that you were back then. So I have this person inside of me, this 10-year-old self, that's still convinced that it's getting bullied. And whenever I go to school, it gets triggered. It's like, I have to defend myself. I have to run away, I have to fight, or I have to freeze. And that's why I start to feel anxious. So first step, become aware of when your anxiety gets worse and when it's not that traumatic. And especially people, situations, time of the day, food, and thoughts. That is the first step. And then, like I said, you can trace it back and you can maybe understand, okay, there's something here and there. And I can connect the dots and maybe, I get to know my anxiety a bit better and I understand why I'm feeling this way. And once you do that, for let's say like a week, this is your task for the next week, you just become aware of it. Then you can do something called shadow work, which is basically just like a kind of meditation, right? I said that meditation doesn't really help, but this is different because this is attacking the root cause. It's not about mindfulness, it's about going back to the traumatic experience and resolving the trauma. So I advise you to just go onto YouTube and look up shadow work. It got invented by Carl Jung, who basically discovered like a shadow self. It's called shadow because it's basically always inside of you and you're not really aware of it, right? It's like a shadow following you around and you have to become aware of it. So it's basically like a part that's deeply hurt. And what you can do is, if you go back to the traumatic experience, you can do something called integration, where you integrate this bad part into your real self, into the person that you are today. And then you can solve these bad emotions, and then your anxiety starts to get reduced, or maybe you can fully overcome it, which is super powerful. As a start, I thought this is weird, this is like bullshit, like what? I have like a child inside of me, I have a person inside of me, I have suppressed emotions inside of me, and I was like, nah, this can't be it. I would just meditate and journal and do all of that stuff. But After some time I realized, no, this is not working. Like, I know this is something new and weird, but I just have to try it, right? Like, anxiety is making my life hell. I can't enjoy anything. So the pain is so big that I might just as well try something kind of weird, over psychology, kind of weird stuff, right? So those are the exact same thoughts that I had, and I was like, why would I do that? Like, that sounds so weird. But the true power comes from within. And remember that I said that it's 80% psychology and 20% strategy. So what I want you to do is just close your eyes, right? Lay down on your bed and go back to the traumatic event. So for me, that was getting bullied. And I really tried to imagine it with all 5 senses, right? So I really, it was basically like I was watching a movie of myself when I was 10 years old, walking through school and getting bullied. And your brain can't tell the difference between imagination and reality. That has been shown over and over again. When you imagine something, right? Like, let's say the best example is you imagine yourself with a girl. What happens? You get hard, right? You get horny. But it's not real, it's just an imagination. So your brain can't tell the difference between imagination and reality. So when you go back and you imagine, or you memorize the bad event, you can basically integrate the part of yourself by giving it what it needed back then. So my example is, I was deeply bullied, I was hurt, I was insecure, I had no hope, I was lonely, I couldn't defend myself. What did I need back then? I needed love, kindness, support, like a supporting friend that gets me out of this bullying, right? And me as myself as I am back then, I then visualized myself going back to my younger self and holding his hand, cuddling him, telling him that it's okay, that it's over, that you can feel safe. And then I basically imagined like a door. And I opened the door and I put my younger self through this door and I show what the world really looks like. Because he's still stuck in this 10-year-old memory. He's still stuck at school. While me right now, like my real self, is living a way better life. I'm not obese anymore. I'm not ugly anymore. Like, I'm not the best looking guy, but if you saw a couple of pictures of me from 8 years ago, I was really obese and ugly and I had fucked up teeth. That's why I have braces now. And I didn't have a girlfriend. I didn't have a business. I didn't make money. I didn't work out. I didn't have muscle. I didn't have anything. I was addicted to porn and junk food and video games. And now we're much healthier and better, but this part inside of me didn't know that. So I had to open up the door and really show him what life really looks like. And then I just started crying for like 15 minutes. And each tear felt like I was relieving a part of my pain. And since then, I can't tell you how much my anxiety has gotten better. It went from like a 70 out of 10, right? To like a 30 out of 10. Or like a 3 out of 10. From a 7 out of 10 to a 3 out of 10. And that is a drastic improvement. Because my anxiety was like a 10 out of 10 for 6, 7, 8 years. And I got it to like a 7 to 10 with mindfulness, with journaling, with exercising, with getting rid of the bad habits and fixing my hormones and doing a bunch of stuff that's good for my mental health. Amazing. But it was still a 7 out of 10. And once I did shadow work, it went from a 7 out of 10 to a 3 out of 10 by just doing it once. And since then I've been doing it like 4, 5, 6 times. And every single time it's getting better and better and better. And this is something that's actually a bit painful. It's actually like, you don't want to go back, right? Like I said before, the number one principle of psychology is pain avoidance. So your mind will make up excuses and it will say, no, I don't want to do this. No, it's kind of weird. No, it won't work. And when you go back to the traumatic experience or this unprocessed emotions, it will hurt. It will be painful. But it's one of the best things that you can do. And this is the number one mistake that I made during my anxiety recovery. And what also plays into this is changing your thoughts and especially your beliefs. Because you have an identity inside of you, right? And you are like, what are you? Who are you? What are you? You might say, yeah, I'm a name, I'm Marlon. Or I'm a bank account, or I'm the clothes that I wear, or I'm the body, I'm like Flash. Or, I don't know, I'm my job, right? I'm an entrepreneur. No, the only thing that you are a collection of skills and beliefs, right? You go through life and you just collect beliefs by your experiences, by your peers, by what you get exposed to. And you collect skills the same way, right? Learning, studying, watching other people do something, right? You have mirror neurons inside of your mind that make you basically learn through watching other people. And then these beliefs get implanted inside of your mind as a kid, and they are super hard to get rid of. Same with your skills, right? You could, like, most people work on the skills, most people work on the strategy, but not on their beliefs and thoughts, which is the psychology, which is taking up way more space than the strategy. So you really have to also change your beliefs about your anxiety. Now you might think overcoming your anxiety is impossible. You might think you're a loser. You might think you're insecure. You might think you're a socially anxious person. You might think you're an introvert. You might think that you're not worthy of love. You might think that you can never do anything great in life, or that money is hard to get by, or that you will fail at whatever you do. And you have this imposter syndrome, this victim mentality, and you constantly blame other people. Like, don't get me wrong, it was the exact same place as you. But once you can change your beliefs, all of this starts to disappear. So the first step, understand your anxiety. Second step, shadow work. Third step, changing your beliefs and thoughts. Now the first step is again awareness. You have to become aware of your automatic thoughts. So when, let's say you wake up in the morning and a minute you already had like 100 thoughts, right? Like, I have to do this today, I have to go to school, I have to go to work, I have to decide what I have to eat, and should I take a shower today, and I have to brush my teeth, and what should I wear today? And you probably have a bunch of negative thoughts. A bunch of negative thoughts that you're not even aware of. Like, oh my god, today will suck. Or, I have this presentation that I have to do and I don't know if I'm ready for it. Or, I have to go to the gym today and I don't really want to do it. If you become aware of them, you can replace them by putting manual thoughts inside of your brain. So you have these automatic thoughts, right, that just get triggered by events, by waking up in the morning. They're basically programmed, right? This normal program that's constantly running on repeat inside of your mind. And you can put these manual thoughts inside of your mind. So you could say in your mind right now, I am confident. I do that right now. I just said it in my mind 3 times. And when you put these manual thoughts inside of your mind, right, you can only have one thought at a time. And when you put these manual thoughts inside of your mind, there is no room for automatic thoughts. And if you do this for, like, let's say a week, you will already realize that your negative thoughts will slowly go away. And your beliefs will change as well, because the beliefs get created by thoughts and experiences. So just constantly become aware of your negative thoughts, your anxious thoughts, your overthinking, and replace them with manual thoughts. Like, no, why are you thinking this? I won't fail today. Today is a good day. Today is an amazing day. And this isn't some woo bullshit about affirmations or something like that. This is more about changing what you believe is actually possible. And your beliefs control you on a level that you can't even comprehend. For a long time, I thought I can't recover from my anxiety. And that's why I was sabotaging my progress for a very long time. Because when you think something is impossible, you won't do the work. And therefore, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? It's a cycle. You believe something is impossible, therefore you don't try it, which really confirms the belief that it's impossible. So another way that you can change your beliefs, right, really change the psychology of your mind, is by doing visualizations. Right? I told you before, the brain can't tell the difference between imagination, visualization, and reality. So you can visualize yourself as the person that you want to be. You can literally craft this image inside of your mind of who you want to be. So really think about, how do you want to feel in 5 years? How much money do you want to have in 5 years? Who do you want to be in 5 years? Really ask yourself, who do you want to be? And visualize it, right? You standing confident right next to your girlfriend or whatever in like a beautiful mansion, feeling amazing, no anxiety at all. You're fulfilling work, you maybe have a couple of pets, and really go down to the tiniest details, like what the window looks like inside of your house, the view that you get, and really think and go through this and plan your day inside of your head. And then ask yourself, what do I have to do to become this person? And then you can create a list of a bunch of skills, right? We talked about skills and beliefs before, that you have to adopt, become he who can. Because most people don't understand this. They set goals and they just work towards them. And just think it will like magically happen sometimes. But let me ask you a question. Do you think you're currently capable of overcoming your anxiety? If you answered yes, I have to disappoint you. The person that you are right now is not capable of overcoming your anxiety. Otherwise, you would have overcome it already. So you have to become the person that can overcome your anxiety. And you do that by adopting the skills, like shadow work, and changing your thoughts, and becoming aware of it, and mindfulness, meditating, exercising, working on something meaningful. And then you slowly, right, it's like your sculpture, you have a hammer, and every single day you're chipping away at bits, and you're constantly like hammering and hammering and hammering, until you have this beautiful figure, this beautiful statue, which will be you in 5 years. So this is the number 1 mistake that I did during my anxiety recovery. And if you have any questions, just message me and put it inside of the comments, and I will answer, and I will make a video on that, and I will try to help you as best as possible. And if you need help applying the strategies, you can book a free coaching call by clicking on the first link in the description right now. Thanks for watching, and please take action.